Now let's hear from our favourite Albanese government minister, Chris Bowen. Here he is on the ABC 7:30 report explaining why your power prices are going up when he had promised they would go down.
That modelling showed that renewable energy is the cheapest form of energy, and if you get more in, you will see downward pressure on prices. But of course, since then, we've seen the impact of the previous government's hidden price rises. Today, Sarah, is actually the 3rd anniversary of Angus Taylor changing the law.
We've heard this one before.
And there you go. It's the previous government's fault. I mean, what sort of a response is that for the responsible minister?
If the Libs lose, it'll still be the previous government's fault. It'll go on forever. And why doesn't he just man up and say, look, we have these models. These are dodgy. Models are based on various assumptions and variables. If you change them, it doesn't work. As minister, I'm saying, sorry, we got this wrong, and we are going to try our hardest to give you back your cheap, reliable electricity that you had 10 or 20 years ago. Why doesn't he man up and say, I was wrong? It's not very hard to do. So here we got him blustering around. He's in a very comfortable environment in the ABC. He should be able to do it there. But no, he just waffles. And this is the man that's sending us broke. His policies are costing us billions. And who pays? You, the taxpayer, you, the electricity consumer.
I do wonder whether we'll look back in 20 years' time and look at Chris Bowen as the most expensive, most destructive minister we have had in the federal government. Now, the ABC has released some data. They've revealed that around 40% of ABC Vote Compass respondents say that they strongly disagree or somewhat disagree with building nuclear power plants, while 38% were somewhat or strongly supportive. Most of the disagreement, interestingly, Ian, came from women. They're far more likely to strongly disagree with the idea of nuclear, more than 41% of them, and only 11.8% strongly agreed. So there is a bit of a gender divide when it comes to support for nuclear power. Why do you think that is, Ian? Is it just because women are increasingly leaning left?
Well, I think there's a number of reasons. Firstly, if it was a survey done of ABC viewers and listeners, then I'm not surprised with the result. The second thing is that we have scores of countries with nuclear or are building nuclear, and they don't seem to have too many problems. We've got tiny countries like Slovenia, 2 million people, and they've got nuclear. What's wrong with us? Well, the reason is we've had so much cheap, abundant coal that we've been able to have coal-fired electricity that was cheap for a long period of time. We didn't need nuclear. Now we've destroyed our coal system with the so-called renewables, then the call for nuclear becomes very strong. And I think the bias of more women objecting than men is partly due to the political engagement of women, partly due to the fact that women use their emotions more than men and are concerned about the future and their children, and partly because there is a lot of scientific information out there, and the proportion of women who have knowledge of science is far lower than that of men. And in society, it's very, very few people who understand the science, but maybe they should just look around the world. We have 32 countries generating power from uranium. Finland recently put in a nuclear power station. The people loved it, and they especially loved it because the electricity prices went down. So what we're being told in the propaganda, what is reality, are two different things. Nuclear is wonderful, and what it means is if we have nuclear, we have an excess of power, and that's what you need for a growing economy. Now, currently our economy is going backwards. Maybe we should think about growing it.
Now, before you go, we saw Donald Trump sign a bunch of executive orders last week to cut red tape and turbocharge mining projects. Tell me what this means for us, because the US seems to be hyper-focused on being energy independent, becoming even an energy superpower.
Well, there's very good reasons for doing that. The US has a lot of coal. Many of the people who voted for Donald Trump were in states like Pennsylvania, which are coal mining states, and he is delivering a promise. And he is one of the few people in politics who has ever delivered a promise. I don't call him a politician. He's treating the world's biggest economy as a business, which it should be. So that has profound implications for us because it shows us that we can use coal, that coal is very cheap, coal is reliable. If you're concerned about emissions, then there are these high energy, low emission reactors that are being built in Japan and Korea and elsewhere that we can use our coal. Now, our coal is far better than that from the US. It's got more bang for its buck. It's got less ash and less sulphur. We should be following the US as quick as we can. Otherwise, we are going to decline even more as an economy.
Professor Ian Plimer, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita.